Thursday, the 22nd of September 2016. Good morning, Chris Redden with today's United Kingdom talk. Lots of people who I know who it's their birthdays today, so they'll be coming up at the end of the show. And it's funny, sometimes you can get like 15 birthdays in a day, and the next day, 2. Isn't that strange and mysterious? Strange and mysterious. Although this isn't strange, this is actually happening. In this morning's super soaraway Daily Mail, it says China has confirmed that its Taigong 1 space... I said that with an accent. Did you hear that? Taigong. Yes, Taigong. China has confirmed that rumours of its Taigong 1 space station is out of control. Oh my God, and will crash back to Earth next year, 2017. You're frightened to walk around outside now, aren't you? Meteors and space stations crashing down among you. My God, a senior official with the country's crewed space programme confirmed the news at a recent press conference. Have you ever seen a press conference? Have you? Full of very, very important people with clipboards. From the BBC, from Sky News, from the Daily Mirror, from the Sun. Very, very important. They're the sort of people that, you know, they've got these things hanging around there and they can think they can swish in and out of anywhere just to say, I work for the BBC. Have you met those people? The Taigong 1 space station module was I can't get the words out this morning. Was launched in 2011 and expected to be deorbited. Now there's a good word. You try and throw that into a conversation today. Deorbited. I'm going to deorbit you. You will be deorbited. I like that. I like that word. That's a new word to me. Never heard that one before. It's going to be deorbited at the end of its life and will come crashing into the ocean or burn up in the atmosphere. Oh, it's not that bad after all. But sometimes I get these things wrong. You know, I could be walking out to my new car next year at some point only to have a space station crash land next to me. And how dangerous? Is it full of that radioactive stuff? You know, will I be glowing forevermore? It's very, very worrying. So do watch out above your heads, boys and girls, for this space station that's going to come crashing down among you. Yes. So yesterday, of course, quiz night yesterday at the King's Head Theatre Bar. Once again, a nightmare traffic. Nearly 2 hours to get there. I don't know what the hell has gone wrong with the traffic in the last couple of weeks. This is every time I go to North London now, except Tuesdays. And it's always the earlier starts, either 8 or 8:30. And I'm getting really fed up with it. Really fed up. And there is no answer. There really isn't an answer. I don't know where it's all coming from or where it's all going. It's not like there's traffic. There's no traffic traffic works going on. What traffic? Road works. There's no road works. Well, there is one in Richmond where they're putting in a new gas main. I assume it's a gas main. It's a yellow pipe. I think it's yellow for gas. So I don't know what the hell is going on. And I wondered if anyone else in London is experiencing the same problems around about 8 o'clock at night. Which is, well, I say 8 o'clock, around about 7:30 at night, which is when I'm coming through. Last night's big problem was West London. It was absolutely chock-a-block. And once again, I got to work 3 minutes before I was due to start, which I hate, which in my mind, I'm late, okay? Now, I can, on a Wednesday, actually set up a microphone and the speaker within 3 minutes and start no more than a minute or two late. But that means I set up the other stuff, the music stuff later on, which actually generally people don't notice what I'm doing because they're doing the picture round. Once they do the picture round, I've then got time to set everything else up. So as long as that microphone's going, I do like to start on. I can't stand being late. And there is nothing to do about it. But it was a nice quiz. Lovely people in there last night. I was most disappointed and illusioned. Boy, there's another word for you to use. As well as deorbit, I want you to use delusioned. Or delusional. I'm a little bit delusional, as you well know. Now, I think I'm sitting here talking to tens of millions of people who are watching in starships all over the universe. I am a little bit delusional. My mate says I'm a bit delusional. Anyway, so it was a nice quiz last night. And that boy that appeared I'm not sure if he was having a joke, but appeared to be chatting me up. I found out his name last night. His name is Andrew. And he's 21. I mean, for God's sake, man, you're far too young for me. 21, dear. Anyway, so he carries on. I think he mentioned, because last week he offered to take me to Five Guys. Now, this is not privately whispered into my ear. This is while I'm walking around with my radio microphone doing the quiz. He shouts things out. I'll take you on a date last week. I said, where do you want to take me? Five Guys. I said, what, all at the same time? What do you think I am, dear? Get me a bad name. So this week I said, what about that date? He said, well, you didn't want to go to Five Guys. I said, well, it's a bit too many at once. He said, well, what about 3? God's sake. Anyway, so the quiz carries on. And then when I walked over to his team, who were all very nice people, actually. They like... we're talking about holidays, actually. I was mentioning that, of course, there's no quiz next week because I'm going on holiday with my niece and her family. We've got a caravan. Hired a caravan, or 2 caravans. One for me and one for all of them. We can't be sharing caravans, dear. No. So it's one for me and one for them, all with central heating and all that, up in Yorkshire. So next week there's no quiz. And I said, do you ever go in caravan? No, they all go camping. Isn't that great? Camping, in tents. Now, I used to go camping in the Scouts. And indeed, I think some of my happiest times were probably in Scouts. And it was all very nice. And I used to go camping all the time, various different places. First place I ever went to was Broadstone Warren. I don't even know. I wonder if that's still there. Just a moment. Broadstone Warren. Broadstone Warren. Camp? Oh no. Camp? It's still there. It's still there. Good God. That was the first camp I ever went to. And where is it then? It's in Sussex somewhere. You can look that up if you want. Hang on a minute. Broadstone Warren is situated in the Ashdown Forest, in the Ashdown Forest in the north of Sussex, midway between the south coast and London. That was the first camp I ever went to. It's still there. And I never forget that. I missed my mum terribly that... How old was I? About 10? Something like that. I missed my mum terribly on that scout camp. Oh, I did. Yeah. And we had one of those old phones, and my highlight of the day was to ring my mum up from that phone. You put 2 pence in. And it was always going out of order. All these old phones where you had to push the money in were forever going out of order. So that was my first ever scout camp. And at night time, instead of having tea, they had hot chocolate. And I hate hot chocolate. Not my thing at all. I like bars of chocolate. Galaxy, actually. I had one of those last night on the way to work. But not hot chocolate. And I think my neighbour, she took us all on the camp. She was a scout leader as well. Mrs. Oh gosh, Mrs. Oh, I can't remember now. What was her name? My neighbour, Mrs. Waller. Mrs. Waller was our neighbour, and she was a scout mistress as well. And she was lovely. She was, and on the camp. The hot chocolate, I don't like that. Well, I can't give you anything else. I can't give you special treatment just because you're my neighbour. And I think she then made me a cup of tea, so that was nice. So I remember all that scout camps and all that. But they were telling me, yeah, we got tents and all that. I don't think I could sleep on a hard floor again, especially not now. I've got my Featherfield mattress topper. And maybe I could go camping and take a proper bed with me. That would have to come in another car, wouldn't it? Turn up in a tent with my lovely soft double bed. That'd be quite nice. So they all go camping, which is quite nice, isn't it? Yes, as I say, a lovely night last night. But at the end of the night, oh my God. So, for the first time ever, I'd added up some of the scores wrong on one of the teams, one of the regular teams, and they came over. I think we've added up the scores wrong, and I looked down and I thought, and I don't use a calculator or anything. I do it all in my head, and I looked down, and I said, "Oh, you sure? Let me have a look." And I had my list, and yes, indeed, I'd added up the scores. I'd missed a one off. Don't know how I managed to do that. Never ever done that before. So they were second, and they win the bottle of wine. And I was, because I'd made a mistake, now I'm running a little bit late. It all went wrong last night, but it was a good. We still had a good night. We enjoyed last night. So, so I apologised to the team, and I went to the bar, and I got them their prize, which was a bottle of wine. I think they had a white wine. Anyway, so I've gone to the bar, completely unaware and rude. I went to the bar and I said to the bar, "Oh, could you pass me a white wine?" At which point, some bloke about my age, maybe a bit older, sort of turned around and looked at me like that, because I'd obviously pushed in without realise. I didn't mean. I never push in. I'm the one that stands at a bar generally and is still standing there 20 minutes later because I won't speak up. Honestly, but when you're at work, you tend not to see things until you've done whatever you're doing. And another example of that is a karaoke night, right? When I'm talking to people in front, hello everyone, and now sometimes you can get someone come up and then try and have a conversation with you. Oh, can I sing this? And they seem to, well, they are aware that you're talking to everyone, but they think it's a good, it's right for them to butt in while you're talking to, I don't know, 50, 60 people. Then they try and have a conversation, and I won't see them until I've finished, or and then I look down and carry on. Or sometimes I say, just a minute, I'm talking to people, and they still try and have the conversation. They won't wait. And I was a little bit like that last night. I must admit, I didn't see these two people. This is not the end of the story. I didn't see these two people being served and talking to the barman. Could you give us a bottle of white wine, please? And then this bloke turned around and looked at me. I said, oh, I'm ever so sorry, I've pushed in. And it was Bradley Walsh from the television, dear. From Thames Television. Da, 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 da. Very, very excellent entertainer. And he's standing there looking. I said, oh, I'm ever so sorry. I said, oh my God, I've even pushed in front of a megastar. I'm really sorry, I don't mean that. He said, that's all right, don't worry about it. He said, great show, by the way, of my quiz night. So there we are, met Bradley Walsh last night, at Fab. And I told you, didn't I? That is the place to be. If you want to meet people that have been on the television, I don't like to use the word celebrities, because the people that go in there are not celebrities, they are stars. I think they're stars. There's a big difference between celebrities and stars. Stars tend to, they are people who are big on television. He's massive on television. Or films or stuff like that. Celebrities are people that they might have been on the telly for a few minutes and now they think they're stars, and they're not. Big difference. The stars tend to be out somewhere, restaurant or pub, and they're trying to be a bit quiet, maybe. Not I am. Whereas celebrities, they will have had all their hair done, great big glasses, massive shoes and coats, and they will swish in like they own the place. There's a massive difference. And in the King's Head Theatre Bar, we get stars. We don't get celebrities in there. All right, so lovely to meet Bradley Walsh. Going back to that boy again, as I'm walking around doing the quiz, I came over to his team while we were talking about the camping, and I spotted, after him chatting me up publicly, boys and girls, I looked over and he had his hand on a girl's leg. I mean, for God's sake, dear. I mean, you might be easier if you used a fishing rod rather than a net, dear. Thank you, Andrew. After chatting me up, his hand is now on a girl's leg. Maybe it's because I turned him down. Do you think? Do you think it's probably because I turned him down? That must be what it is. So Ray Reynolds and his friend Peter from an Essex radio show. Peter does an Essex radio show. They turned up last night as well. I think we started off with 7 teams. A little bit quieter than usual. Normally in there, it's 10 teams. Last week, it was very quiet. So we're back up to 7 this week. But one team dropped out because they weren't doing very well. Oh, my God. They were not doing well at all, that other team. So they went home. That does happen sometimes. I don't read out the scores as we go along, simply because of that. Because people do disappear if they think they're doing really badly. However, one team went So we were left with 6 teams, and Ray Reynolds and Peter came 5th last night. Well done, boys. You're not going up at all, are you? It's not. You tend to hang around the 5th mark, but it doesn't matter, Ray Reynolds and Peter, because you had a good night, and that's what matters. You enjoyed yourselves, didn't you? And Ray Reynolds had his Thames Television T-shirt on, which I have one of those, which you have seen on this programme. The Thames Television T-shirt. The youngsters don't know what it is. Is that funny? The youngsters do not know what a Thames Television T-shirt is. So that was that. I came home, and it was one of those nights. Again, the traffic on the way home was not good along that Euston Road. Idiot Uber drivers and minicab type people, not black cabs because they know how to drive. Is it minicabs? Private hire vehicles, I think, is the correct term. Private hire vehicles going along the road at 20 mile an hour. You know, and not keeping up. That's the other. You know it's an Uber driver when you see a big gap between the car in front of you and the next one along, because they're working the bloody sat-navs. Why are the police not nicking these people? You never see the police on this road. All they got to do is stand next to the road. I mean, obviously, I suppose if they're driving, that's how they know. I would have thought they got people, but, you know, quietly driving behind and observing. I mean, I've had that done to me, you know. Suddenly you realise there's a car keeping the same distance behind, and it's watching you, and eventually it goes past. They generally ignore me because I get pulled over for going too slowly sometimes, especially in my new car. I shall have to go slowly in that for a while. My hybrid. But they don't seem to get nicked, these people. They're driving along there, and because there's a big gap, and that's because they're concentrating on their sat-nav. You know, you'd be surprised if you do the same thing, going along, operating your sat-navs or texting people at the wheel. I think that's 6 points now. Texting people. I saw 3 people on the phone yesterday. 3 people on the phone, holding the phone to their ears, one hand on the steering wheel yesterday. All women yesterday. Not that that's anything to do with it. It could have been men as well. Yesterday happened to be women, right? And you look down. Do you know how far you travel just by looking down for 3 seconds? You've probably gone, depending on your speed, you could have gone 100 foot in your car in that 3 seconds. And in that time, the car in front might have braked and you haven't seen it. Bang, whiplash, whiplash. Watch out for the whiplash. Oh, have we done 17 minutes? I must hurry on, dear. I'm ready for my porridge now in the morning. I have porridge every morning, as you know. Couple of messages coming in here, boys and girls. Hello to Cy Clark, regular viewer of the show. Hello, Cy. Now, Cy, you remember we were talking about bombs the other day? I think on Monday's show this week. And I was saying, is it like, you know, when they find a bomb, when they disarm it, is it like in the films where you got 3 wires? Generally a red one, a black one, and I think the other one's blue or green, some of that, doesn't matter what it is. And, you know, they say, oh, which wire do we snip for? Is it the blue one? And the camera zooms into a pair of clippers and go, click, and nothing happens. And they go, click, and nothing happens. And they go, click, and nothing happens. Is it like that when you, is it dispose of a bomb? Yes, when you disarm a bomb. Is that what it's like? And Cy Clark writes in, hi Chris, I am ex-army. In that case, you are very high in my estimation. Anyone who's in the army or the armed forces, very high in my estimation. I used to do karaoke at Bluches in London, and often we get army boys in there. They were pretty. They did have uniforms on, but it was always obvious who were the army boys. Spotted them a mile off, and they come up. Oh, can we sing a song? And I say, well, there's a bit of a wait at the moment. I'd look at them and say, you army? I say, yeah, that's right. We're in the so and so. Okay, give us two. I'll put you on in 10 minutes. Always let them jump the queue. Army people or armed services always jump the queue. I haven't seen any for a couple of years now. Anyway, hi Chris, I'm ex-army and spent my final 3 years in bomb disposal. In response to your which wire do you cut, it's a load of Hollywood dramatic tripe. So many devices and so many bomb builders means there is no such thing as cutting 3 wires. It would be far too easy if the builders left exposed coloured wires to snip. So thank you very much for that, Si. That's an eye-opener to me. But I'm wondering, Si, if you're watching this particular show, so how many, what would be the most common type of way to disarm a bomb? There must be like when they make these not not like a complicated one that I suppose a government would produce with lots of buttons and all that and codes and things. What would be the most common way to disarm a bomb that someone like how would you put this? Someone who doesn't have access to modern equipment. You know, when we hear like stuff like garden fertiliser, I believe. I mean, I'm a bit worried that my Miracle Grow in the shed is going to explode at any moment. Is there any chance of that exploding? You know, I mean, you'd be... when I got Miracle Grow, I put it in this thing, in this like a plastic dome thing. I screw it onto the hose and then spray it out. Is there any chance of that exploding at some point accidentally while I'm in bed? Might take out half the wall, dear. What about my Miracle Grow? But when they make, you hear them make bombs out of fertiliser. I suppose garden fertiliser, I'm just guessing. How is it easy to disarm something like that? Is that a fairly simple thing? You know, I suppose you've got to be trained in all of it. But anyway, fascinating there, Si. Thank you very much for that. Do appreciate you replying. Good morning to Ricky. Good morning, Ricky, who is now back from Thailand. Thailand. Hello, Ricky, who says, were you doing an impression of an upside-down turtle yesterday? No, because I told you I had an extra set of legs, didn't I? Turtles only have 4 legs. It was an upside-down beetle. And Ricky says they've moved back the wedding date, or was it the engagement date? The wedding date to October from June next year. Okay, why have you done that then? Why has that been moved back? Anyway, good luck to you. Move back the wedding date. Good morning to Julian, who says, thank you very much for birthday wishes, Chris. I can't believe you remember all that about us after all these years. Of course. Of course I remember people that take the time and effort to come and visit me, wherever I am. Yes, of course. You're right. I used to listen to all your shows when they were audio only and I was working from home. Thank you. That's from Julian. And I was talking about Julian and Romina yesterday, who are from Argentina. And they used to listen to the show all the time. And they turned up at my bingo night about 6 or 7 years ago now. It was in King's Cross. And they got married and they got a little girl now. Does it say the name? I haven't told me the name. I've got a little girl now. Romina says, well, you have a truly prodigious memory, Chris. I do. We won a toaster that day indeed. Julie and I have a little girl now called, wait for this, Valentina. Isn't that nice? What a lovely name for a little girl. Valentina. Lovely. So nice to hear from you two. All right. Darren Lee Wick says, I love your show, Chris, especially when I'm home sick for the UK. It's my little bit of England. Land of hope and glory. Thank you, Darren. Nice to hear from you, sir. And Tommy Flynn says, have you ever been to Macro? Because we're talking about Booker's. I went to Booker's, which is like a wholesale place. Very disappointing. It's just like a big old storehouse. No atmosphere in there at all. Tommy says, have you ever been to a Macro? They are a cash and carry. Lovely garden department. We do like a lovely garden department. Oh, just a moment, please. We do like a garden department. Yes, and indeed Alan Russell also says, I go to Macro sometimes. One in Charlton have some very interesting stuff. So I must try a Macro next. Macro. Alrighty, it's birthday time, boys and girls. Now, all these people's birthdays I know this morning. Good morning to all of you. Duncan Pritchard, 41 today. Happy birthday, Duncan. I always thought we might go on a date at some point, but it never happened, Duncan. Why is that, dear? The last time I saw you was in that lovely little club in London called Chariots a few years ago, wasn't it? It's gone now. It's gone now, Duncan. Where's it gone? Happy birthday. 41 today to my good friend Duncan. Think you live in Fulham, if I'm right. Happy birthday to Dow Drury, 37 years old. Happy birthday, Dow. Now, aren't you in Brighton? And the other day I thought you were going to move from Brighton, but now you say you're staying in Brighton. It's all very confused. It's like an episode of Dallas, dear, watching your life unfold on Facebook. Are you staying in Brighton now? If so, what are you doing there? Brighton, up north, down south, can't decide. Happy birthday, Dow. I worked for him a few times in a few different places. Happy birthday to Guillermo. Ah, yes. He always sends in the occasional email. You're hiding your age, aren't you, dear? Happy birthday, Galamo. Nice to see you, sir. Robert Ellis. 81? You're not 81, are you really? Robert Ellis. Worked for him once at a pub in Islington called... No, it's not going to come into my head. I only worked for a couple of times, didn't I? It was on... I think it's a restaurant now. Anyway, happy birthday, Robert. Nice to see you on here. Are you really 81? I can't believe that. Are you 81, Robert? No. Happy birthday to Jaron Hebresh, 44 today. Happy birthday to you, sir. Bob Ellis, 75. Bob Ellis. Isn't that the same as Robert Ellis? I'm sure that's the same. And that one, you're 75. Can't you decide what your age is, dear? Is it 86? 81 or 75. You're very, very confusing. Almost as confusing as where Dow Drury is. Can't decide where he wants to live. Decide, please. Lovely. Vida Las Vegas, drag queen extraordinaire. Happy birthday to you. Look at all these wonderful people's birthdays who I remember. And Phil Marriott, he is a DJ, boys. I was a DJ. I still do occasional DJ work, not in clubs anymore. I got bored with it. I got really bored with it. That's why I started doing the karaoke. I love doing karaoke. I love doing little DJ jobs here and there, but I wouldn't want to do a club again. I don't think so, Phil. Happy birthday, Phil. Glad you're doing so well. Another one hiding his age. So as you're hiding your age, Phil, I'm going to estimate it by looking at your photo. Oh, yes, 58. 58, I think you are, Phil. Is that about right, my love? 58. And one more today. Happy birthday at the bottom there for Jessica. Let's have a look. Jessica Martinez. Oh, a picture of you on horses. Let's sing the song. One moment, please. Here's the song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Have a wonderful day, boys and girls, and I shall leave you there. Enjoy your Thursday. Have a nice day, all right? Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye now.